Hello, all. Hope you're doing well today. So, today we are continuing our conversation in chapter 13. This is part 2 of booking and scheduling events, and we're really focusing more on negotiating the contract. Here we go. So, our objectives are to comprehend the importance of contract negotiations and analyze the different elements of a contract, as well as being able to differentiate between the use of insurance and indemnification, and examining the issues regarding holding dates and the different types of riders and understanding what those are. Once a potential event is identified, the contract negotiation process begins with the two key representatives: the agent, who represents the act, such as a musician or a performer, and then the booking agent, who represents the event promoter or venue. Negotiations advance when the booking agent submits an offer form, which outlines the key terms of the agreement, including the fee structure and other deal points. Once the offer form is submitted, the agent presents it to the act's manager for final approval. Only after the manager agrees to the terms does the contract move forward to a written agreement, ensuring that all parties are legally bound to the negotiated terms. Contracts are essential for clearly outlining the expectations and responsibilities of all parties involved. When drafting or reviewing a contract, it's important to include the following key elements. Number one are the parties to the contract. First, you need to identify all parties involved, including any subcontracting arrangements that may be in place. This ensures everyone knows who's responsible for what. And the duration of the contract. Specify the start and end dates of the agreement, as well as any conditions for renewal or extension. And goods and services. The contract should clearly outline the goods or services being provided. This includes detailed descriptions and key deliverables to set clear expectations. And payment terms. Clearly define the payment amounts, due dates, and any provisions for interest in case of late payments. This ensures transparency and helps avoid future disputes. And insurance and indemnity. So include clauses that require any necessary insurance and indemnity provisions to protect both parties from potential liabilities. And guarantee provisions. So ensure that any guarantees or warranties are well defined, specifying the terms under which they are valid. And special conditions or riders. Include any special conditions or requests, often in the form of a rider, that may apply to the specific agreement. By covering these elements, a contract will help prevent misunderstandings and establish clear terms for the working relationship. For an agreement to be legally binding, it must meet certain foundational criteria. The first of those is the offer. The offer must be made in good faith, meaning it is free from fraud, coercion, or deception. This ensures that all parties are entering into the agreement voluntarily and with a clear understanding of the terms. Consideration. This is the value exchanged between the parties. One entity promises to perform an action or provide a benefit, and in return, the other party promises to offer something of value, whether it's goods, services, or money. This exchange of value is what makes the contract legally enforceable. And acceptance. For the agreement to be complete, both parties must agree to the terms, as typically demonstrated by their signatures. It's important to note the date of signature, as it indicates when the agreement becomes legally binding. Sometimes, despite the best intentions, a party may fail to fulfill their obligations under the contract. This is called a breach of contract. When a breach occurs, the injured party is entitled to seek a remedy, usually in the form of monetary compensation for any damages suffered. There are different types of damages that may be awarded. The first of those is compensatory damages. These damages aim to put the injured party in the position they would have been in had the contract been fulfilled. This amount is typically calculated based on the loss of earnings or benefits the injured party would have gained if the promises in the contract were kept. Punitive damages serve two purposes. They punish the wrongdoer for the actions and deter them and others from engaging in similar behavior in the future. Unlike compensatory damages, punitive damages are not based on the actual loss suffered, but on the severity of the wrongdoing. And then liquidated damages. In some contracts, the parties agree beforehand on a specific amount of money that will be paid if one party breaches the terms of the contract. This agreed upon sum is called liquidated damages, and it helps to provide certainty in case of a breach. When drafting a contract, it's crucial to address legal liability and specify who is responsible for covering any losses that may arise. Clearly outlining these responsibilities helps prevent disputes down the road. Here's how to manage legal liability and insurance within the contract. An allotment of legal liability. The contract should clearly define who is legally liable for any potential losses and how they will be handled. This allocation of responsibility ensures that both parties understand their roles in managing risks. And then the certificate of insurance, or COI, it verifies that the party has the necessary insurance coverage in place. This document can provide peace of mind that both parties are protected in case of unforeseen circumstances. And general liability insurance. This type of insurance covers bodily injury or property damage that occurs during the course of business or contractual activities. It's essential to include this coverage in contracts to protect against general risks. And then event cancellation insurance. For events or large gatherings, event cancellation insurance can protect against financial losses if the event is unexpectedly canceled due to factors beyond the control of the parties involved, such as weather or unforeseen emergencies. And then pyrotechnic insurance. If pyrotechnics or fireworks are involved in an event, pyrotechnic insurance ensures that any accidents or damages caused by fireworks are covered. This specialized insurance is often required for events with such activities. While liability is typically allocated in a contract, it can be modified using specific clauses such as hold harmless or indemnification clauses. These clauses help manage who is responsible for legal defense, costs, and damages in the event of a dispute or loss. And here's how they work. Hold harmless or indemnification clauses require one party, known as the indemnitor, to cover the legal defense costs and pay for any damages, whether through a settlement or an adverse jury verdict, on behalf of the other party called the indemnity. This applies under certain specified circumstances, typically related to a claim or dispute arising from the contract. Each party responsible for their own negligence. In some cases, contracts specify that each party is responsible for their own negligence. This means that if one party is negligent, they will be accountable for their own actions, and the other party will not be required to cover their costs or damages. And then there is one party 100% responsible for partial or total negligence. Sometimes a contract will specify that one party is 100% responsible for damages if they are found partially or totally negligent. This shifts the full responsibility for the damages to the negligent party. And then lastly, one party is 100% responsible regardless of negligence. In certain situations, a contract may go further and state that one party is 100% responsible for damages regardless of who was negligent. This is often used in high-risk situations or where one party is deemed to be in a position of greater responsibility or control. When booking a space at a facility, it's important to understand the different types of holds involved and that can be placed on a time slot. These holds determine the level of commitment and reservation status for that space. Let's explore the various types. A hold refers to a time slot being requested, but it's not confirmed until a signed rental agreement is in place with another client for that same time. Essentially, it's a provisional reservation. The second is a first option hold. This occurs when the facility offers the first option to hold a space. It gives the client the priority to secure the booking, but there's no guarantee until a contract is signed. A second option hold applies when the facility accepts the space hold, but it is considered secondary to a first space holder. If the first option holder does not confirm, the second holder has a chance to take the space. And then a prospect hold reserves a space but does not guarantee an agreement. It simply holds the time slot for potential future use with no assurance of a finalized contract. And then a tentative hold occurs when the facility space is provisionally held for a specific date, but it's not a confirmed reservation yet. The space will remain on hold until the client definitively books the activity. And then a definite hold confirms the reservation. This happens once the agreement has been received and the rental deposit has been collected. At this point, the space is officially booked and guaranteed. A rider is an important addition to the basic agreement, typically added to describe the additional requirements that the booking agent must provide to assist the act or event. These are specific details that support the performance or event and can cover a wide range of needs. A rider is an attachment to the main contract that outlines extra requirements such as technical specifications, hospitality needs, security arrangements, and merchandising details. It ensures that all the necessary resources and services are available for the successful execution of the event. As far as the legal nature of riders, every condition listed in the rider, regardless of how small or seemingly insignificant it may appear, is legally binding and becomes an integral part of the agreement. This means that any failure to meet these conditions could lead to legal repercussions for noncompliance. In some cases, all the requirements are included in one comprehensive document known as the production rider. This document consolidates all the technical and logistical needs for the event, ensuring that both parties have a clear understanding of their responsibilities. A rider typically covers several important areas to ensure that the artist's needs are met at the venue. These aspects are essential for making the event run smoothly and for protecting both the performers and the event organizers. The first of those is the hospitality section that outlines all the relevant information and specific requests made by the artist for their time at the venue. This can include things like food, drink, dressing room arrangements, or any other comfort needs that will help the artist perform at their best. The technical section provides crucial details about the physical space and equipment required for the performance. This includes information on the layout of the venue, the availability of local personnel, electrical power needs, and the specific technical equipment the act requires, whether it's lighting, sound equipment, or other tools for the performance. The security section specifies the conditions necessary to protect the artist, the crew, and their equipment. This could include the need for specific security detail or personnel, crowd control measures, and secure storage areas for valuable equipment. The merchandise section clarifies who has the right to sell merchandise at the venue. Typically, this right is under the control of the act, and the rider will specify whether the venue will allow the sale of merchandise that features the artist's name or image. This is important for ensuring the artist can generate revenue from product sales during the event. Beyond the basic requirements, a rider can also specify detailed logistical and hospitality needs that ensure the artist and their crew are properly taken care of during the event. One of those is ground transportation. The rider will often outline the ground transportation needed for the act's travel. This includes transportation from the airport to the hotel to the venue, from the venue back to the hotel, and finally from the hotel to the airport again. This ensures that the transportation arrangements are seamless and reliable throughout the event. If the tour doesn't use a travel agency, the hotel accommodations required by the artist will be described. This includes the type of hotel, room preferences, and any other special requests to ensure the artist's comfort. It may specify room types, proximity to the venue, or particular hotel chains. The writer will also detail the number of dressing rooms needed for the act, as well as specific accommodations inside the rooms. This could include requests for a certain number of towels, room temperature preferences, lighting for makeup, and the number of restrooms available in or near the dressing room. These elements contribute to the artist's comfort and readiness for the performance. The writer will often include specific food and beverage requirements for the artist, covering breakfast, lunch, dinner, and after-show refreshments. This may include dietary preferences, allergies, or specific catering requests to ensure the artist stays nourished and energized throughout the day. In addition to the artist's needs, the writer may specify food and beverage requests for the artist's entourage, which includes the crew and support staff. These requirements ensure that the entire team is well catered for and able to perform their roles effectively as well. Now let's take a closer look at the technical and logistical requirements often found in the writer. These specifications are crucial for ensuring that the event runs smoothly and that all the technical needs for the artist, crew, and production staff are met. Here are some of the common requests. Locations of consoles. The location of the house console and the monitor console is a key detail in the writer. For large productions, it's becoming increasingly common for the artist to use in-ear monitors and bring their own monitor desk. The writer should specify whether the artist will be traveling with their own monitor engineer or if one will need to be provided by the venue. Stage riser dimensions. The writer will often include detailed specifications for stage risers, including height, length, and width. This is important for both the artist's performance and the overall staging of the event. So you have your main stage, and then you'll have other stages with the main stage, ensuring that there's enough space and the correct setup for all the performers. The stage plot is a diagram showing the arrangement of instruments, amplifiers, microphones, and direct input boxes on the stage. It provides a detailed picture of the entire stage setup, including even the placement of electricity drops, so everything can be set up according to the artist's exact needs. The input list describes the specific microphone and direct input signals feeding each channel of the sound console. This ensures that the sound technician knows exactly what's needed to capture the correct audio for each instrument or device. The lighting plot indicates the type of lighting instruments, their locations, the color of each piece of lighting equipment. This helps the lighting team set up the lighting exactly as the artist envisions for the performance. And then the rigging plot is a diagram showing all rigging points and the maximum weight each rigging point can safely hold. This ensures that any overhead lighting or equipment is safely and securely rigged. And then the electrical power requirements for both sound and lighting systems must be specified. This includes details like amperage, phase, and grounding, ensuring the venue can meet the power needs of the production without any electrical issues. And the writer may specify the offices needed for the production staff and tour management, as well as the number of telephone lines, high-speed internet connections, electrical power outlets, and photocopiers required for the team to operate smoothly behind the scenes. And a local physician may be requested to be available in case a member of the tour requires medical attention. This is an important health and safety measure for high-profile events. Security is a critical part of the writer to ensure the safety of the artist, their personnel, and their equipment. A clear and thorough security plan helps to manage any risks and ensures that the event runs smoothly. The writer includes a condition guaranteeing proper security for the act, their personnel, any guests of the act, and the act's equipment, including instruments. This ensures that everyone involved in the event is protected from potential threats or incidents. The writer requests the name and phone number of key security personnel, such as the venue security officer, local police, and appropriate state and federal law enforcement officials. This ensures that the tour's security director has all the necessary contacts in case of emergency. And a timeline for contact information. As stipulated that all contact information must be provided to the tour's security director no later than 15 days prior to the act's arrival. This gives the tour security team enough time to review and prepare. And security plan requirements. So the rider requires a copy of the venue's security plan, which includes a general description of how local security will protect the act, a risk assessment, which is an assessment of the potential risk and dangers they may encounter, and an emergency evacuation plan, which details exits and transportation in case of an emergency such as bomb threat or natural disaster. There is typically a security meeting and briefings, and the rider specifies the need to schedule those security meetings before the performance day. This meeting includes the tour's security director, the venue security director, local security staff, and representative from the police and fire department. Additionally, a security briefing should take place just minutes before the doors open for ticket holders, ensuring that everyone is prepared. And incident reports. The rider requests that a copy of each incident report be provided to the tour's security coordinator. This includes descriptions of any injuries or arrests that occurred during the event. After the concert, a security debriefing should be held to discuss any incidents that may have occurred, ensuring continuous improvement in security procedures. And a stage barrier and security personnel. So a rider specifies the stage barrier, a portable structure that separates the audience from the stage. It also details the number and type of security personnel that should be positioned near the stage barrier to ensure safety for both the act and the audience. And venue access during stage check. A condition in the rider ensures that only authorized venue employees and local stage crew are allowed in the venue during the stage check, preventing unnecessary disruptions. And then lastly, a prohibited beverage container. The rider requests that no beverages in glass or metal containers be sold when the show is held in an arena, stadium, or outdoor festival venue. This reduces the risk of incidents involving thrown objects. Merchandising is an essential revenue stream for artists, and the rider includes several clauses to protect both the artist's rights and their profits. So if we look at that, typical merchandising provisions included in a rider are the most favored nations clause. This ensures that the booking agent negotiates the lowest merchandising rate, that is the percentage of merchandise income that the act must pay to the venue. This clause guarantees that the act isn't paying a higher percentage than other performers, thus securing the most favorable terms. There's also a rider that will include language that gives the act's merchandising company exclusive rights to sell non-food and non-beverage items. This could include audio and video recordings, photographs, t-shirts, or program books that feature the likeness, name, or image of the act. This clause helps protect the act's brand and ensures that only authorized vendors are selling products with their image. The rider will also look at the prohibition of counterfeit merchandising. So it specifies that the booking agent is obligated to prevent the sale or distribution of any counterfeit merchandise. This clause ensures that no unauthorized products, especially counterfeit items, are sold inside or outside the venue. This is crucial for maintaining the integrity of the artist's brand and ensuring that only approved merchandise is sold. And then the provision of merchandise space. The venue is typically required to provide adequate space, stands, and tables for the act's merchandise to be sold before, during, and after the show. This ensures that the artist has proper accommodations for their merchandise sales, maximizing their opportunity to sell items to fans. So in conclusion, key points that we covered in this session are the comprehending the importance of contract negotiations. So we explored why negotiating clear and comprehensive contracts is essential to protecting all parties involved in an agreement. We also analyzed the different elements of a contract, from the offer, consideration, and acceptance to breach of contract and remedies. understanding contract elements and ensuring clarity and enforceability, and to be able to differentiate between the use of insurance and indemnification. We distinguish between insurance policies like general liability insurance and indemnification clauses that allocate legal responsibility for damages or losses. We also examined issues regarding holding dates. So we discussed different types of holds, including first option, second option, prospect hold, tentative hold, and definite hold, and their impact on event planning. And appreciating the different types of riders. So riders cover essential requirements such as hospitality, technical, security, and merchandising, ensuring the Act's needs are met for a successful event. Understanding these aspects will help you navigate contract negotiations effectively and protect your interests in professional agreements. And that is all that I have for you today. I look forward to talking with you again. Have a great day.